G'day guys, it's the coach, and I am going to be doing a bit of a hobby hangout. Got myself a coffee, which is a iced coffee. Been doing a bit of filter, it's a bit hot, so I thought I'd give you a view of my delicious iced coffee. And for the next hour, we are going to be painting some squigs. So, sorry for that view of my hairy arm. So today really is just going to be an hour of me doing a bit of a coffee catch up. If you guys are joining along, hello, welcome. Jump in the chat. I might just fix up this camera a little bit. Happy days. And it's really going to be an opportunity for us to chat. So if you have any questions, you want to ask me anything, you want to, hey Echo, iced coffee indeed. It's 11 o'clock. It's quite warm here in Sydney at the moment, so instead of having a hot coffee, I thought I'd do a cold brew. Hey, Jeff. So if you are going to be hanging out, hello, welcome. Very much grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a bit of hobby. This will just be an opportunity for us to chat, to paint. If you want to paint along, you want to ask any questions, you just want some background noise, you interested in something in particular, whether it's going to be about the YouTube channel, whether it is about my current hobby, my excitement for the Gargants that are coming up. There is absolutely a whole bunch of things that we can talk about today, but in the meantime, we are just going to paint. I'm going to try to consciously paint this on screen. This is certainly something new. But I hope you're all well. It's currently Saturday in Australia. It's not the week that Gargants come out just yet. So, but I've got a tournament tomorrow, or a one day quote unquote tournament. So, we have these monthly, like 1 days at a local store. We have 3 games, and I will be taking out the Jaws of Mork. So, good opportunity to play around with the squiggies, give them a bit of a hoorah before I go knee deep into grots. So who have we got here? So we've got Jeff. Hello, welcome Jeff. Echo's here. He's a big fan as well, by the looks of it, of iced coffee. Dave's in the house. Hey Dave, good to see you, mate. Good to see our borders are going to reopen soon. So let's see if we can get some Queensland, New South Wales action happening. I'll expand on that in a second, Echo. I'll say hello to Huey. Hey, mate. You've got hammer time this morning. Whew, that's that TTS Pask Run event, if I'm correct. That'll be very exciting. I know there's a whole bunch of people playing some cool lists, some interesting lists. TTS or Tabletop Simulator, if you're not familiar with the terminology, is a bit of a digital software focused Age of Sigma, which is pretty close to the real experience, and especially during quarantine, it seems to be a great alternative, or a way for you to test your models without actually going balls deep, buying all the models, painting them up, and then realizing they're hot garbage. Ben Johnson popped up on Twitter. Okay. Wonder what that's all about. I wonder what BJ's doing. I know BJ is a big fan of the Gargants. I have seen the new Gargant artwork. So, being that the Gargants are so close, and Games Workshop have been I guess, previewing some of the rules, some of the artwork. It's certainly one of my big things to look for in the morning. I check my wrestling news. I check my Gargant news. Often get disappointed to see 40k, and then I move along. But it's been exciting. Dave, can't wait to travel between the states. Yeah, we all know Queensland's the best state. Look, you guys had 2 tournaments that were cancelled not long ago, so would have loved to have gone to Runax, would have loved to have gone to Brizhammer. So they were going to be my events now that I wasn't able to go to America. But in the meantime, I might just chat about the Gargants. Echo's asked a good question about Gargants, so I'm absolutely jumping in with the Gargants. So What are my plans? So my plans are absolutely... So funnily enough, when the Gargants got announced in April, March, June, somewhere around there, I decided that was going to be my army for 2021. And at the time, we still had CanCon, which is Australia and the world's largest Age of Sigmar event, still on the calendar. So that happens in January. It's been happening for many years ago. Jeff, who's in the stream, I know used to be a part of it when it was in Warhammer Fantasy days. And run by Clint from the Heralds of War. This would have been year 5 of Age Sigmar. And last year, I had come third with my display board of the coolest army. So I'd got myself a Forge World trophy, which is pretty cool, but I wanted to do better. So I decided that Gargants were going to be the army that would get me there. Not only would it be fun, but I think I had a really cool idea for a display board that I've still got plans for. I've drawn it up. But I've held off the display board for now, but I might do a squig version for Armies on Parade. But so my plans for Gargants. So I'm planning to run them actually. So I've got a 2-day tournament in Canberra in November. So it's a little 2-day tournament, 40 people being COVID safe at Jolt Games. I think it's sold out. There's already a cool wait list. But I was going to say Gargant's there, so I've got myself a deadline that I will be building, painting, and playing with the Sons of Behemat. And it's obviously very hard to the only thing we really know for the army. By the way, if you're wondering what I'm painting, I'm just doing some of the red on the grots. So we know the points leaked from the General's Handbook. Well, not a leak, actually. They kind of already had the Gargant points in the General's Handbook, and they all range around 500 points. We know that if you take the small Gargants, you can take those small Gargants as a unit of 3, between 1 to 3, that is, 1 to 3. And if you take 1 unit of 3, that fulfills all 3 of your battle line. So what it basically means is you could run, based on what we know, you can run an army of three Mega Gargants and then 3 small Gargants, and that'll take you to 2,000 points. Or you can run 2 Mega Gargants and have 6 smaller Gargants, or you could run up to 9. Now, obviously, I could run units of 1, I could run units of 2, but just the mathematical combinations. I could have up to 3, or as little as 1 Mega Gargant and all the small Gargants. The other thing that we know is that they currently have no allies. So I don't know if that will change in the battle tome, but based on what they have in the General's Handbook, there are no allies. So there's no screens, no grots, no bodies. It's literally an army of Gargants, unless you went mixed destruction. Morning, Harry. Good to see you, mate. Just painting up some squigs at the moment and talking Gargants. So something that I'm hoping come 48 hours from now, the pre-order article will be up, and we can pre-order that on the 10th. With all the Games Workshop activity, we must be close. We must be close with... there's a Black Library audio drama coming out or being up for pre-order on the 10th as well, which is one of the reasons why us Gargant players are quite confident that the 10th is the number. The 10th is the date that we got pre-order, unless something changes with the 40k releases. So, where was I up to? Gargants. So what do we know so far with the Gargants? We know that there is going to be a named character version. So they've started releasing. Is it a guy? There was a guy start with B. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But there is a named version that is the Kraken Eater. You've got the Gate Smasher, and then you've got the Hooded. No, that's the Gate Smasher. There's the other one. What's the other one? Oh, the War Stomper. Now, one of those are going to be, you can bring in any army. So they're all, the named characters are mercenaries. So you'll be able to bring them in to your, any army. I think the War Stomper is for Chaos. You can ally that in with Chaos, or you can do, you can make it a mercenary for any Chaos force, which is pretty exciting. And I think we saw a rule that, was that the rule that you, at the end of combat, if there's models within 3 inches, roll a dice and it does a mortal wound on a 6, I think it was. You've got the Kraken Eater, which you can mercenary into Chaos, Order. I think they all can be also brought into Destruction as well. So I think all 3 of the Gargants can be brought into Destruction, and then one of them can be brought into Order, Chaos, Death as well. The what is it? The Kraken Eater, you can choose to go last. So in combat, you can choose to go last, and you re-roll once to hit, or re-roll all failed hits or failed wounds. There's some type of re-roll mechanic. Again, can't remember off the top of my head, but the Kraken Eater, the one that's holding, the boat and the sack of things that it's found or captured, that's your Order version. So I imagine potentially there's a lot of people who are going to be excited about the Gargants. People are going to want to pick themselves up a Gargant as an ally. They are pretty big, if you ask me. G'day, Nigel. Coming out from Thailand. Whoo, Swatika. Kapung ka. Sorry, that's my bad Thai from about 10 years ago. Do I like coffee? Absolutely. I am a coffee fiend. Here is my iced coffee. That is a cold drip coffee that I've been making up now that we're moving into a hotter months in Australia, and trying to cut down on my milk as well as I work from home. So, but I do I buy my green. I just pre-ordered a new grinder. So I think I spent like $600 on a grinder. They say that I make all my coffee at home, and being that I work from home and my wife now works from home, and I'm not really buying coffee anymore. Like, I'm not buying it outside. I've been brewing it myself. So I brew with filter, I make up espressos, make up, different coffees. And I've recently been buying these beans. So I've got a friend who owns I guess like an Amazon for coffee. It's a real big marketplace of, different types of beans, different types of providers. And I've been buying those coffee lately, and I tried out accidentally. Usually I buy the whole beans, and I accidentally bought them pre-ground, and I was surprised how fine their grind was compared to mine. So I thought I did some investigation, asked my mate about the coffee, and I bought myself like a commercial grade grinder just so I can get it into this absolutely fine powder that is awesome for espresso, but not for cold drip. You got to grind that very coarse. There's a random education on coffee. Not that I am a barista at all. Yeah, absolutely. 7 p.m. coffee for you. That's dessert coffee. It's Friday night. I imagine where you are. That is very elite. Yeah, the army's super elite. If you think of Gargants, in a Gargant force, not mixed destruction, I think at most you'll have 10 models. Because you'll have 3 units of 3 small Gargants and then 1 mega Gargant. So at most you'll have 10. At smallest you'll have 6. So 3 mega Gargants, 3 small Gargants. So it's a pretty small army, and I think that's for me where I'm trying to wonder, how does this army compete in the game? How on earth, if I have, let's say, 10 models at best, and there's no allies. I was hoping that I'd be able to get Gargants to ally with a unit of Grots, a screen that will help me for deep striking, a screen that would help me, whatever it might be, just, some type of screen. And there's no allies. So I'm trying to think about, and I'm hoping to learn, how does this army compete in match play? How does it win on objectives? How is it going to handle Techless, and how's it going to handle, Seraphon, or, blobs of pink horrors? How's it going to handle Lumineth? How's it going to handle just playing objectives? Obviously, by the looks of it, there's no wizards. It looks like there's no priests. Looks like there's no battalions. So there's no terrain piece from the looks of it. I imagine there's no endless spells. So very curious how this army's going to play, but I'm not getting in it because I want to go 5-0 at a tournament. I think it's just going to be fun, interesting, different. If the world ever opens up, Koh Samui, yeah, that would be lovely. Although I remember it being very humid in Koh Samui. That'd be very cool, man. Get some Pad CU, fire up the Thai, mate. Do it near Songkran. Just actually, we'll have the tournament away from Songkran. So Songkran, for anyone who's never been to Thailand, is the festival of cleansing, I guess, where the Thai people will clean everything, clean their house, clean their car, clean everything to like restart their new year. But us Westerners, or they call us Falang, we turned it into basically like this 3-day water fight. So come 12 o'clock, literally, there's just a massive water fight through the streets of Thailand, through the streets of Bangkok, and a lot of cool fun. I remember getting to a lot of water fights. Basically, come 12 o'clock, it's no holds bar. The Thai get into like utes, utility cars, and they'll throw ice water at you. They'll sell refills. They'll put some like a cleansing mud over your face. It's a beautiful, beautiful place if you've never been to Thailand. Beard game's on point. It's all right. I actually haven't brushed it yet. I got up this morning quickly, took the dog for a walk, went up to the farmer's market. So every Saturday we have a farmer's market. So I like to grab my produce, or as much of my produce from a farmer's market compared to like a supermarket. So I haven't actually put in like any beard oils. I haven't beard straightened it. Spoiler, I've recently bought like a beard straightener. So if your missus has like a hair straightener, there's like a male version of that. So if you've ever seen it like really straight, spoiler alert, I've got a beard straightener now, and it just makes it look nicer. Gargants should get their own rules, just for playing. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see how they handle. You've got I literally 24 hours ago, I had Haywo Twitch Joe talking about ogres, and they have models that count for a monster counts as 10 for objective play, and I'm wondering, how does that handle a Gargant? Will Gargant get the same rules? Will they get something that's better, something that's different? How will they? I mean, their base is going to be massive. I'm imagining. So the display board that I've been playing with for a Gargant display board. The idea was going to raid a village. My Cities of Sigmar village, like a little outskirts town, like a little fishing village, and part of it was going to be I was actually going to build like a smoke machine, like a little mini portable smoke machine that I was going to put into one of the houses to kind of simulate fire, and the Gargants burning everything down. Anyway, where was I going with that? So I've been trying to plan out the 2x2 display board, and I'm imagining that it's going to be approximately, minimum 130 mil base, probably like 160, similar to like a Maw Crusher, similar to like Archeon, similar to Alariel. So it is a big base. You are going to take up a lot of the objective space, but who knows? Who knows how they're going to handle Mini Maxa or Rocky? I'm not sure what that's referring to, but you probably put that up a long time ago. That was like 5 minutes ago. Who knows what I was talking about 5 minutes ago? Pet Maw Crusher. I wonder if I imagine that's just in the lore. In the lore, some Guardians have pet Maw Crushers. I wonder if the Maw Crusher with no mount. Yeah, good question. I don't know. I'd love to see more unmounted monsters in general. I'd love to see in the old Warhammer Fantasy days. You used to have like a lizardman build, and the lizardman had no monsters, so you could have feral carnosaurs, feral stegodons, like basically Jurassic Park without skinks or saurus riding them. And no different, I'd love to see, you got the unmounted Terrorgeist. What about an unmounted Maw-Crusher? An unmounted, I don't know, Stardrake, an unmounted, and maybe you use like a bravery test to, sometimes, if anyone's got a dog or a cat, sometimes they listen to you, sometimes they don't. And, maybe it's a bravery test that, gets them to do what you want them to do, or they act randomly. I don't know. That's something that I would have loved to have seen. Yeah, I imagine. Oh, the grinder. What did I buy? I think it's the Rocky. It's the. Oh, I can bring it up. But it's. What is it? I'm using my phone as the other camera, so I can't bring it up. But yeah, it's a really nice grinder. It's semi-professional or very professional. I can put it in the Discord if you want. If you actually want to know what grinder I've bought, but it doesn't come. I think it's up for pre-order. I think it's coming from Italy, and they sell out their stock pretty quickly. So I think I'm on the October run. But yeah, I'm really excited about Gargants. I'm excited to almost like the tournaments are starting to slowly come back up. I'm starting to run some small events. Now that we kind of, at least in Australia, are a bit more COVID. I wouldn't say we're out of the woods, but certainly we've got it in control enough that we could start to bring back small events with appropriate spacing, appropriate social distancing measures. I've included lunch with I'm running like a 28-man tournament or a 1-day event in December. And one of the things that I'm doing as well is I've organised lunches. So again, people aren't hanging around at the eatery. We can separate. It's all, individually packed meals. That as much as I'd love to organise pizza and stuff, it opens up a can of worms. So I think we're slowly kind of getting back into a rhythm, but certainly not out of the woods just yet. So. But it's nice to see a little bit of Age of Sigmar focus. Got to play against Lumineth Realm Lords the other week, again with these squigs, funnily enough. And boy, oh boy, if you haven't played against Lumineth yet, can they pack a punch? Had the pleasure of playing Teclis with about, I think it was about 50 or 60 Wardens, so the guys with the big long spears, and about 30 of the archers. So the archers ignore line of sight, and they all do mortal wounds on an unmodified 6 to hit. So those archers can be really potent just to take out your characters, especially because they ignore line of sight, so they can just shoot over terrain. And then I think she also had the Calithar, the lady with the shoes off. So she's probably the most powerful. Funnily enough, I think everyone focuses on trying to kill Teclis, and in actually fact, it's her that you got to take down first. So that was a really fun, interesting learning experience. What shooting options do Gargants have? So that's a really good question, and we don't know yet. We don't know. There hasn't been very many leaks. There hasn't really been any war scrolls being shown off. So do they have a breath attack? Do they have? Can they throw a rock? Are they all just pure combat? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe if anyone can shoot, maybe it's the Kraken Eater. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be I mean, there's really only 4 war scrolls, so it's hard to know if they're going to do anything. It's hard to, and that's why I don't think there's going to be a priest. I don't think there's going to be any type of wizard. How they play the hero mechanics will be interesting as well. Do you appoint one of them as your general? How do artifacts work with them? Is that the reason why you don't worry about, like, how do you use command points? Do you have command points? I think for me it's going to be interesting. Absolutely, do they have a hand cannon? Can they toss a boulder like a Cygor or the old in Warhammer Fantasy Battles? There used to be the Giants of Albion, and one of them used to have like a big rock that it would throw, which was very very cool. Does it have that mechanic, or are they all just pure combat? And really, the goal is they just run in and just shoot up armies and tie up their opponent. Could be interesting. Could be very interesting. Do they care about endless spells? How do they handle endless spells? If there's no mages, if there's no mages, how on earth do I unbind a spell? How do I handle magic? And if there's a powerful, let's say, I don't know, like something like the Skaven, what's it called? The warp, the Skaven's the warp lightning vortex. If I've got the warp lightning vortex and it's pinned me, how do I get out? Can I eat the endless spell? Can I unbind it in any way? I think there's just so many questions when it comes to this particular army that I think we're all kind of waiting to see how they handle the War Scroll. Because if I've only got 6 models, or if I've got, at best 10 models, I've really got to make the most of what I've got. How do I handle, 100, what's it called? Hearthguard Berserkers. And I'm not whinging here at all. Please don't. I think this is the questions that anyone who's thinking about getting into Gargants is thinking about, or if you're getting into it, that it's a fun narrative. Get in there, just smash your mates, have a laugh. Probably not going to go 5-0 at a tournament. It's very unlikely. Maybe, or maybe they are. Maybe they are super competitive and they ignore spells. Maybe they have the old Stonehorn rules where anyone who played Age of Sigmar in the first version, Stonehorn had this rule where you'd halve the damage characteristic that's different to how we do it now. And it was really tough. It was really tough to take down a Stonehorn. They would just outright, instead of halving the damage characteristic, you halved the damage total, I think it was, from memory. So if I took, I don't know, 20 damage, it would actually only be 10 or 5. I can't remember the exact. Maybe someone who played Beastclaw Raiders back in the day can clarify with me how exactly work. I just remember the skeleton skin was really tough, so tough that they ended up changing it. It was actually one of the first nerfs that they had received, as well as Battle Brew. Yeah, tossing boulders. They throw rocks. I think that'd be cool. I think, like they've got cows, they've got humans, they've got gear that they've collected. So I'd love to see them throw something as well. Especially like, how do I handle, I don't know, those witch elves that have a hag queen sitting behind the line? Do I have a reach? Maybe I have a reach of like reach 6 instead of having a reach of, up to 3 inches or 2 inches. Maybe they have a 6-inch reach. Maybe they have a 6-inch pile in. I think it's just very curious on how they're going to handle Gargants. Cool, they throw terrain. Yeah, like maybe, like, could they destroy your opponent's terrain? Like if I've got, like a whatever, like Khorne or Flesh Eater Courts or Seraphon, like why can't my Gargant smash the living hell out of that terrain piece and destroy it and remove its effects? There were rumors that the Gargants could move the objective. Like they could kick it, they could move the objective. So if it was sitting somewhere on the table, you could then move it and push it away, or I don't know, grab it. So that would be an interesting mechanic, something that we've never seen. Obviously, Lumineth can push you off an objective, but no one's ever manipulated or played with the actual where the objective stands. So who knows? I can imagine people using spells just to block the Gargants. Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be an interesting one. Like, do you use things like the Palisades? Do you use Shackles? Do you use the Warp Lightning Vortex? Do you use do you use some of those spells just to clog up the board? And if the Gargants don't fly, which I don't think they're going to, how do they move around the table? How do they get to an objective? And if they don't have a spellcaster, how do they handle the endless spell? How do they dispel it? How do they get rid of it? Can they eat it? Can they kick it? Do they ignore it? Nothing will frustrate me more if my 500-point Gargant is pinned and I have no ability to handle an endless spell. So yeah, like Shackle's blocking up the Gargant, being in base-to-base contact. The cycle has a very cool rule, Oathstone said, in which they pick up a boulder with one ability and then throw it with another ability. Yeah, I would love that. I would love that. Something like if they don't move, they can pick up a terrain piece, they can pick up a boulder, they can pick up something and throw it. And you can imagine that they will just absolutely peg it, and it will, ignore line of sight. Hell, bring back the old scatter dice that Warhammer Fantasy had, right? Anyone who played Warhammer Fantasy battles, things like cannons or war machines, would have a scatter dice. And they would also have another dice. I can't remember the name of the dice, where it basically had a 2, a 4, a 6, an 8, 10, and like a nothing dice. And basically that would extend the range of like it would, the cannon, like you would guess the cannon's distance, and then there's a cool little mechanic. But regardless, I guess the point is that maybe there's a new interaction that they bring in for I don't know, destroying a terrain piece. Like, why can't they remove a terrain piece off the table? They are the sons of a god beast. They are probably going to be the largest model on the table, other than Archeon. Maybe, probably the scale of Nagash, but bigger. So, I think who knows what they're going to do. But anyway, what are you guys all working on? Who is doing some hobby? What are you currently working on, and what do you hope the Gargants are gonna do? Are you thinking about picking up a Gargant for your current force? Are you thinking about starting a Gargant army? And what are you hoping that it brings to the table? I think when you think about what a Gargant does or what it's going to do, if I'm going to bring it in as a mercenary, it will essentially act by itself. Like it's a point and click model. It's not going to require your army to buff it up. It's not going to require you to babysit it. It's probably going to have a lot of wounds. It's probably going to have maybe it doesn't have a good armor save, but it's probably going to shrug wounds some way with a damage prevention roll, or it's going to be able to ignore. It's not going to require you to spend command points on it. It's just going to do its thing. Put it on the flank, put it in the middle, run it up the board. It's going to do the job as you expect. So, if you are running an army, Lumineth, Flesh Eater Courts, Khorne, Grots, whatever army you're running, Beast of Chaos, what would you take one? What would you need it to do if you were going to take one? Is it something that you're going to kind of just wait to see what it looks like before you jump in, or? I'm really excited. It's, when Lumineth Realm Lords come out, it's cool, don't get me wrong, but I knew it wasn't for me. It wasn't the type of army that I was excited about. And it's something different as well. I think that's something that I always look out for in my armies. Between my Legions of Nagash, my Gloomspite Gits, my Cities of Sigmar, they're all different. I know some people prefer to find armies that are similar to their playstyle. So if they like shooting, they'll find another shooting army. For me, if I'm going to play a different army, I want it to feel different. I want it to try something new. Grundy, I'm also looking forward to buying a Gargant to paint, and if it's fun, to include in Ossiarch. I think the other thing is the Grumby, you've kind of mentioned this a little bit, is the conversion opportunity, right? Like, what does an Ossiarch Bone Reaper Gargant look like? Is it a stock standard Gargant, or would Catacross do something? Is he going to put on special armor? You know, is it more of an undead? One of my good friends, Deke, who's a Legions of Nagash player, has built up his own Gargant, and he's made it a zombie. It's, you know, very pale skin, very got like arrows. I think it's got like its gut has been like slit quite significantly, and it's got like some you know, guts kind of hanging out. It's I think it's got like, you know, vultures kind of, you know, pecking at it and kind of all around it. Again, kind of what you. It's very, very cool, very zombie-esque, and that's like the way you could integrate it to your into your Legions of Nagash. But what does it look like for Ossiarch Bone Reaper? What does it look like for Lumineth? You know, would Teclis put on some protective jewels? Would it like, I think, you know, what does the Cities of Sigmar one look like? What is, you know, like, I think the mercenary and conversion opportunity for armies, like a Fireslayer one would be brilliant, right? Give it a big mohawk, nice red beard, maybe some Urgold runes. But again, you could have a lot of fun converting up and making something special for your army. Jeff's waiting on his 32mm bases for his Beasts of Chaos. Mortal Realms start, yeah, that magazine. If your country's lucky enough to get the Mortal Realms magazine, do check it out. They are pretty cool. The first couple of issues are just no-brainers. You know, like $6, $5 for a bunch of models. It's crazy good value. But then I think so. I'm a subscriber at the moment, and there's a couple of like limited edition models that come with the kit, and there's a lot of cool stuff that comes with the magazine. It's very easy, very affordable, and very fun. If obviously no product endorsement here, it just is what it is. But it's a nice way to also like get yourself some Stormcast or some practice models, right? You want to practice up a paint scheme. Don't ruin your good models. You know, put on these practice models. What else are people up to? David is just finished up his last basing for Slaves to Darkness and Iron Jaws, so now you're up to base coating your Blight Kings. Man, Blight Kings, how good are they? They have become just absolute hotness in 2020. It's just a shame that we've had COVID kind of slow things down, because I tell you what, Blight King meta is real. I think them and Seraphon, people are talking about them, but I think people have experienced them. Obviously, we've experienced Blight Kings, but now with the additional Slaves to Darkness rules, then the points adjustments, very, very, very attractive to be a Nurgle player. Hey, Todd, good to see you, mate. I think you're making sushi for the family at the moment, so I hope to see some photos of your sushi in the Discord. By the way, if you enjoy this type of thing, and I need to do more of these hobby hangouts, and I need you guys to keep me in the butt to do this type of thing, but I do have a Discord, and the Discord has like over 500, 600, maybe even 700 Age of Sigmar members. So if you like this type of thing, you want to do these things like, you know, ad hoc, or we play video games, we do all this cool stuff. I believe the link is in the description. I'd recommend checking it out. Come join us. A lot of cool people like Todd, like Jeff, like a whole bunch of you guys here who just come in, we paint, we share, we give people advice, we talk lists, we share pictures of our dogs, we share memes. It's a pretty cool community. We play games. Hey Phil, nice to see you here, Phil. Hope you're doing well. And you are. I was going to ask you what are you doing, but I see you've popped it in the chat here. You're working on your first Nurgle army, Slaves to Darkness and Skaven. Okay, very pestilence themed. I love it. Building 30 block of dwarf miners with a very long pickaxe. Okay, Cities of Sigmar. Yep, halberds. You definitely want to go halberds. I don't touch spears. Spears are average. They are just so not good. Halberds at least give you a bit of rend. Spears give you, swords give you a better save, but don't do spears. Ben is working on his second army of Ogre Mawtribes. The list is 6 models of Thunder Tusk and Stonehorns. I feel like the Sons of Behemat would be similar to an Elite Beast Corps. Yeah, absolutely. I've already got a friend who's playing Beast Claw. Like, I think Hayden, one of my mates, he's got like six models in his army too. And I think just the clash of just like all the big boys is just going to be brilliant. Gargan is a tree man. Oh, that would be sweet. That would be sweet. You'd always like make like a tree beard from Lord of the Rings, or just make like this absolute mega tree, you know, tapping into Kurnoth, Kurnothi, you know, bigger than the spirit of Durthu. That'd be cool. That'd be very cool. Gargant using the tree man as a weapon. Oh, how funny would that be? Like literally holding a tree man. You could at least hold. Obviously, we have to look at the scale. At minimum, you could be holding like a Kurnoth hunter with his sword, like literally as your sword. I'm sure there's some massive tree branch, like you could use the endless spell. You know that big tree endless spell that Sylvaneth have? You could almost use that, because that's massive, that's huge. Or you can be holding like an Awakened Wildwood. You could be holding that as a trunk, just absolutely just popping your opponent. Good sushi? No. Our Discord is fun, but sushi's pretty sweet. Check out the Discord last night. Love it. Thanks, mate. That's awesome. And yeah, as Todd said, rock on. Obviously, there's no sales pitch here. I don't make any money from Discord. It's just a cool way for us to hang out, and people just sharing across the world, you know, what they're up to, what their hobby's doing. We play a lot of Age of Sigmar on TTS. Seems to be a group playing that game. Was it Among Us? I haven't looked into it yet, partially because I was really excited to play the new Baldur's Gate 3. So Baldur's Gate 3 was meant to be out tomorrow, but unfortunately it's been delayed a few days. So I'm holding back, not buying another video game, because I do also have the new Assassin's Creed coming with the PlayStation 5 in, when is that coming? November? September? October, November. That's coming as well. Plus, I'm starting in 2 weeks' time a Dungeons and Dragons game, so I haven't played Dungeons and Dragons for 12 months, but I'm playing a campaign with a good friend who is picking up the new. If anyone played the old video game Baldur's Gate, there's a new campaign set in like a very frosty Everwinter, basically, and I think we're going to go investigate in this the Ice Queen. We're going to go handle the Ice Queen and see what's up, and why are you messing around with Faerun, which should be pretty cool. Not a lot of players in my area. Yeah, and I think that's the other thing is, depending on where you are in the country with social distancing, it's nice to have people that you get to meet. You can talk outside of your community as well. I know, like, I've been seeing a lot of Canadians jump in, a lot of people, you know, from the East Coast to the West Coast of America, or wherever you are in the world, and people have been meeting up with other people. I think that's the fun that tournaments bring as well. You meet like-minded people, you get to know them, and over time you just you make new mates. So this has been a good way across the. I mean, I've been seeing, like, Todd can agree, people just sharing things across the world, literally posting things, converting, painting. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll do a Secret Santa or something. I think that'll be fun. Maybe next year when COVID's over, or hopefully COVID's over, and the mail system's a bit more consistent. I know some of my packages from Australia, between Australia and America, has taken like 2 months. So I think for a Secret Santa, for example, we'd maybe when it's a bit more consistent, a bit more reliable. And obviously they're doing things that are, it's obviously challenging, a lot of stuff going on right now. So I'm not blaming anybody, just how it is. If you didn't notice, if you don't know, by the way, again, not a sales pitch at all, but we've brought out an AOS Coach dice bag. So that's been co-created by the community as well. So again, Discord contributed some pretty amazing wisdom, like focus on the objectives, read the player's pack, don't forget your triumph, don't fail the charge, shoot the heroes, screen your heroes. That's an important one as well. Just don't get double turned. I love that piece of advice. But so if you're interested in a dice bag, you're absolutely welcome to jump on board. It's a bit of a pre-order as well. So there's like 2-3 week window from now. So I think I put up a video not long ago. That's got all the links on Etsy as well. So, and they're being made in America. So if you are based in America or Canada, the postage should be very generous compared to if I posted it from Australia, it would just be too expensive. If tournaments start, what advice would I give a new player for attending a tournament, or even just to watch? Well, first off, don't watch. If and when tournaments come back in your area, well, it's not an if, it's a when. Tournaments will come back. They are already coming back in Australia. They're already coming back in New Zealand. They are a little bit different. They're not probably as big. You can't squish as many people at a venue. So they are coming back slowly. But all right, before I get into the advice, I just want to pull up Jeff. Chicken Palmy Arnott shapes just come up in your feed. Okay, I have not seen chicken Parma shapes. I mean, I'm all about the chicken crimpies, but do I have any emoji stickers on hand to show off? All right, give me 30 seconds. I'll bring it up, and don't run away. I'll be back literally 30 seconds. Let me go get stickers. I told you, literally 30 seconds. So Todd, I don't know why. So I do have some stickers. So there's one. There's another. There's another. And there's another. So, and if you're wondering how or where you get those stickers from, so first off, these emojis were made specifically for the Discord as well. So we love our emojis. We love messing around on Discord. So we've got some specific emojis to play with the Discord. But I've also made up some that will be going out to the Patreons or patrons very, very soon. Just waiting for, again, a bit more consistency with the mail before I post them out. The last thing I want them to do is get lost. But if you want to support the channel, if you want to jump in and help out, and if you want to help out at all, you're more than welcome to go check it out. If not, there's absolutely no pressure. Again, the Discord is free for everybody. Too sweet not to show off. Yeah, and we'll make more. I think we've got about 15 emojis in the Discord. So I'll start making them up over time. So, and then get them posted to different people. So that'll be fun. But in the meantime, I do want to answer Phil's question, and that is some advice for tournament players. So I might look in the screen while I give it this advice, and I'll paint. So first off, I think the thing to consider is that a tournament isn't as cutthroat as you think it is. It's not about everybody going there to crush their opponents, to drink their tears and to laugh in their face. That's not what tournaments are. In the Age of Sigmar community, I can only speak on behalf of Age of Sigmar community, and I've had the pleasure of playing in America. I've had the pleasure of playing in England, had the pleasure of playing in Australia, across lots of different places. So my experience is only my experience. But what I can say is that a tournament for most people is an opportunity to spend a weekend playing Warhammer. It's a goal, it's an event, it's an opportunity to just hang out with people, play some games. For some countries that run them at more of a convention or in a hotel, it's a getaway from their wife, their children, their husband, and just roll some dice, just have some fun, have a bit of a break, and meet new people as well. It's also a good opportunity for you to practice, to get some new exposure against different armies. Maybe in your community you don't have any, Slaanesh players, but you have the opportunity to play literally every Age of Sigmar army at the tournament. Some will be more popular than others, but you will get a good variety of opponents. So it is wonderful to get some new exposure. So what advice would I give you? If I gave you some advice, the first thing I would say is realign your expectations. If you think that you are going to go to a tournament and win it, you're probably going to be set up for disappointment. what your goal should be is to have fun, meet people, learn. If that was your first tournament, that would be your goal. For most people, if you are, if you come from like a competitive war machine or 40k and you've got a bit of a background in Magic the Gathering, maybe you'll do better. But expectations are important, and if you go in just having the expectations of meeting someone, meeting new people, making some friends, having fun games, you will walk away and have a good time, and you'll come back for more. But if your expectations are that you will win more than you lose, or you will walk away with some prizes, or you'll podium with a trophy, you're only setting yourself up for disappointment. Now, if you did want a podium, if you did want to win a prize, practice the scenarios, practice opponents, get exposure to different types of opponents. So there was a video series I did for a while, and I have paused it only just because tournaments are paused. But there was a video series that I was doing called Emerging Meta. And really what it was about representing what are you going to play, what's the opponents looking like, and what should you get experience or knowledge. And whether it's watching videos, whether it is playing these types of armies, whether it's reading their battle tomes, chatting to those people. If Lumineth Realm Lords and Seraphon are dominating the meta right now, then you need to get experience against Tzeentch. You need to understand what they do and how do you build a list around it. That's if you want to win. But for you, if you are just starting for the first time, my advice would be is to practice, have fun. I would. There are things like AOS reminders, for example, that have your lists in a cheat sheet, so you can actually have your rules as you go. So I think just being open and just thinking about what it is. It's not as scary as it sounds. Introduce yourself. So if you are new and you don't have a lot of people that if there's a Facebook event, maybe post in there, just get people to know you by name, or just let people know that it's your first tournament. If you've got friends that can come with you, it's always going to help you if you have a friend that can come with you. But it's just a gaming weekend. It's not as big as people make it out to be. And it's that pressure that you put on yourself that will make it feel intimidating. So my advice would just be to go out there, have fun, just do it. If you're uncomfortable and you don't know anybody because you're new to the area, you don't know the community very well, reach out to the tournament organizer. Just let them know, like, hey, and people do this to me all the time because I do run tournaments. They'll say, hey, Anthony, my name is whoever you are. This is my first tournament. Or, hey, I'm really excited about playing. This is my very first tournament. I'm only playing locally, but, I'm really excited. And I will personally go introduce them to people in the community. I'll do things like I'll make up little name badges. So everyone's got like a little name badge or like a lanyard. So you can at least grab people by name. Or I'll even put their social media, like a Twitter handle and Instagram handle as well. So after a game, you might want to follow that person. I like to take photos, so I might say, hey, Jeff, what's your Twitter handle? What's your Instagram handle? I'll tag you when I upload these photos. And then what happens over time is that you will meet these people more and more. You will run into them more and more. So use your first tournament as a springboard. Just get in there, have fun. No expectations. Just learn. I did 2 videos about tournaments, preparing for a tournament, and then on the day. So if you go have a look on my channel, there is 2 videos. They're about 3 years old. They're still mostly relevant, and that would help you a bit more about. I think I broke it up about preparing for the event on the day. I might have mentioned players packs. It should mostly be, the context should be mostly there. So I would check that out. Grumbly, any tips on how to transport your army and other supplies to tournaments? Oh, man. It's almost like you're reading my mind. So I am going to film a small little video, I think, soon. And I want to kind of unpack my my backpack. I always feel like I'm really well prepared. I probably over prepare, so I bring my own meals. I'm very prepared for my tournament. So I'll answer your first part of your question. So any tips on how to transport your army? So first off, it depends on where you go. Are you going locally? Are you going domestically? Are you flying? Are you driving? How are you getting there? I think, and I'm not asking you specifically, but it's like a question that I ask myself. I fly a lot, so I'll fly domestically on airplanes. I'll go overseas. I've taken my Warhammer army overseas to America, to England, and all that. So the way I transport my armies is I use the Games Workshop Crusade carry case. And the reason I take that one is, one, it's very flexible because of the way it's built, but two, that it's the exact measurements of going in carry-on luggage. So I never check my luggage in. You are asking for your stuff to break because it'll be thrown around. You just don't know. So I always do carry case. And I'll take it on the plane. So it'll go through security. They'll always ask you to open it up because they think it's either a gun, or they think it's a photography case, or if it's a drone case. And a lot of those have batteries. So they're like, what is this? And they'll open it up. They'll realize it's plastic, and you'll move along. But it's the perfect size to go in carry on. And you know that you're 100% in control of your models. So Crusade carry case is great for me. If you were Sylvaneth, or if you had an army with, very fine details that are very easy to break, you could get like something like a Magna rack. They basically you put some magnets like at the bottom of your base, and basically it's held up by magnets. So there's like a couple of different levels, and you can interchange them. So if you have like a Nagash or an Archeon, or some Mega Gargants, you could have adjustable levels. Or if you just had like a bunch of troops, you could had like 100 dryads, you could just have the appropriate levels. So things like Magna racks are good. Or you could make your own. I've seen people buy like a like those plastic storage containers. You could put like a metal sheet at the bottom of that, and again just put magnets, and that would allow you to store that and move that safely. I probably wouldn't do that if I was going to fly, but if I was just going to drive as well. And that also then comes into even things like your display board. So I've got a display board just up here. You can't see it from here, but if you want to bring a display board, you might want to make it like a 1 feet by 1 feet, and kind of 1 feet. 1 feet. You could whole bunch of stuff. I think I'm overcomplicating this answer here. So basically, long story short, Crusade carry case is great. Magna racks are great, or their equivalent. Or if you're driving and you just want something that's basic and safe, you might put yourself like a plastic container with a sheet of metal, and magnetize the bottom of the base so they're just like safely skewered. The other part to the question is other supplies for tournaments. So it seems like it's overwhelming stuff to carry. It really depends on how prepared and how you want to play. The basics would be probably no different to the basics that you want to have. It would be your rule books, you would have your dice, you would have your measurement trays, you have your tokens, you would have your objective markers. Pretty standard. What do I bring? What else do I bring? I bring deodorant. That's pretty important. I make sure I've got deodorant with me, and I reapply that constantly to ensure that I don't have this stinky. I don't want to be stinky. So especially like in some of those, at least in Australia where it's quite humid, you're compressed in these fine spaces with a lot of people pre-COVID. So deodorant, always reapply at COVID. I bring a USB charger. So just, I use my phone a lot. So I'll have all my war scrolls, and I'll have all of my battle tomes, including my opponent's battle tomes, on my phone or on a tablet. And because I'll be using it constantly to take photos, take videos, to be using it for war scrolls and rules, I'll always have like a USB charger just to make sure that if my battery's dropping, I can always keep it charged, which is great, very inexpensive. I'll always have a 2 liter water bottle, so I'll have something like this. This is 2.2 liters. You can buy smaller ones, but I'll always have this in my backpack to make sure that I'm staying hydrated, and I've got snacks. I'll have like nuts or some snacks. Again, I don't like convention food. I don't like being at the mercy of soggy hot chips and crappy hot dogs and hot garbage meat pies or soggy sandwiches. So I'll do that. I carry a lot of shit. Probably the only other thing I'll mention that I would highly recommend, and again, it's just out of frame, is I'll get like a TV tray. Even like a tray from McDonald's. Though I'm not saying to steal a tray from McDonald's, but those little trays as well, because the last thing you want to do is pack and unpack your army every time you're moving tables. So I will get like a TV tray, and just to literally put my army into the tray, and then I can just carry it around to the next table. So that's just a couple of things, and I will break it down as well a lot more. So moving to a bigger city, move forward to absolutely, and just introduce yourself. Let people know that you're new. I find the community is quite welcoming, and they will put a lot of focus in the whole. They'll like in Sydney, for example, which again is my community. We will try as much as possible to make people as welcome. So if someone says they want to have a game, or where do we play here, or what are the gaming nights, we'll try hard to introduce them to the community. There's been plenty of times where I'll challenge a new person. So in Australia, we have something called a grudge, which is more of a play date than it actually is a grudge. But I will often challenge the new person, if I know that they're new, to at least give them a good game, get the nerves out, get them into the swing. I'll be a bit more patient. I'll still have a game with them, but they won't feel the stress and the pressure of having to know their rules and be flustered. So if that opportunity exists for you and you're able to help somebody, nurture them in the community, grow their confidence, that's another way. Or vice versa, you might ask, can someone give me a teaching game? Magnarak or Bast, Todd, yeah, absolutely. Magnaraks are wonderful. Magnet bases on. I'm not familiar with that type of letter tray. Appreciate the answer. Yeah, I think it's definitely something that I'm very over prepared. So take what you want out of it. Again, I buy nuts. I buy some candies. I'll buy. God, I've got like hand sanitizer. I've got what do I have? I've got so much stuff in my bag. I got one of the Rocks backpacks. It's jam packed full of stuff. Yeah. And like the IKEA tray, like that. Those trays are, you could buy them at any home and garden, or in Australia we have like Kmart and Big W and those types of like generic homeware. Probably like Walmart probably sells those TV trays. Highly recommend you bring one. They're good. I'm going to start wrapping up here. I promised my wife I'd only be on for an hour, and it's just hit lunchtime. So if there's any questions that you guys want to ask now, looks like we got halfway into a painting stream and then halfway into questions, but that's okay. I appreciate everyone who's jumped on here and had a chat, and we got to have a bit of a hangout. I'll definitely do more of these. Been playing around. Who knows? Maybe we'll start bringing in some guests as well that might want to have a chat with, or who knows. But in the meantime, maybe before I wrap up and let you guys ask any final questions in the chat, and I'll answer them. Maybe what's coming up next on the channel. So I might maybe break the stream. Whoop, not that. Be all fancy. Just trying to be all fancy, and then. So what's coming up on the stream? So I'm thinking, and again, I'm really appreciating any insight or experience or any thoughts that you guys have. Again, this is where anyone in the Discord will know that I'll ask questions. I'll say, hey, do you guys have any questions for a guest? Do you have any topics you want to talk about? Is there anything that you'd like me to focus on? So again, another reason you might want to jump on the Discord. If you're not a part of the Discord, go check the link. What's coming up? So we just had a video with Joe, aka Haywo Twitch. So that was really cool about Beastclaw, ogres. I would like to do some more of those videos. However, I'm very conscious of the Broken Realms coming. So that is very much like the Psychic Awakening that 40k had. And that may bring in new rules. It may bring in new characters. It may change the way that armies play. So what that looks like, I'm a bit nervous of putting out too much content and being rubbish by the time that comes. But we know that's coming pretty soon. I don't know when, but I imagine probably, I don't know, they'll probably get it. October will probably be all 40k content. And I imagine these books might start dropping in November, preparing for Christmas and a big Christmas boosts in their sales. So I might do a couple of list videos. I want to do Jaws of Mork like I meant to, but unfortunately time constraints stopped us doing that. You got the Troggoth Battle Tome or the Troggoth rules coming in White Dwarfs. That might be worth investigating. There's a couple of armies like Flesh Eater Courts, for example, I really want to revisit. So Flesh Eater Courts, especially, like, what does it look like? You know, how does Dead Watch and Hollowmourne and, you know, Grizzlegore, and what does Flesh Eater Courts look like? I think OBR as well is another one that I'm interested in exploring, because OBR, you know, obviously 99.999 lists were Petrifix Elite. Now that Petrifix Elite got changed, are people going to Staliac Lords? Are people using Death Riders? Are people still running Nagash? What does a Catacross list look like? Are people taking Crawlers? Are Harvesters coming back? I think it's worthwhile looking at one or two particular builds. So that's something that I'm interested in. A few other things is you might have seen talking. So I started doing these other videos called What Is or What Are. They're meant to be like these 5-7 minute, just breaking down what is the command point, what is the meta, what is an endless spell, what are allies. Try to break down some common things that just to make it a little bit easier for newer players to get into the hobby, especially some common language that we use that isn't so common. Like command points, for example, like how does it work? You know, how do I get them? Just some general videos. I've also got a getting started video. So I mentioned my tournament videos that I recorded like literally 3 years ago almost. Like they were the very first videos. The other video that I did like 3 years ago was a getting started into Age of Sigmar. So that's been recorded. I'm editing it. It should come out in the next fortnight. So that's kind of like what's on the radar at the moment. I've got a couple of other videos that I'm playing around with. I'm thinking about October being a tournament organizer focused month. So I'm thinking it being like October or tournament organizer October, and maybe talking to a few tournament organizers about how to write a players pack. What's the science behind a players pack? You know, how do you organize like a one-on-one tournament? How do you do teams tournaments? How do you do a couple of different tournaments? So as tournaments start resuming, event organizers may consider bringing in a narrative event, starting up and getting some resources out there. So that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. But again, any questions, any comments, any feedback, obviously leave it in the video or jump in Discord. Again, Discord, I'll be able to immediately respond. I can obviously, people can add their advice and their thoughts. And, you know, again, I keep talking Discord, jump in if you're interested. It looks like there are no further things coming in. I know Todd is obviously a massive supporter of the Discord. So again, thanks for your help. But obviously a lot of people, Jeff's obviously very big on the Discord as well. But it doesn't look like there's any final questions coming in. I have painted the stalks and some mushrooms on the squigs. I have painted some teeth, and we have had some very good chats. But I think we're going to start doing this more often. Thank you all for your time. I hope you had a good time and you got some painting done. And I will chat to you all again either on Discord, the next video, the next live session, or the next hobby hangout. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you all later.